Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Chronicles podcast, a podcast about disability, mental health, and whatever I have going on inside of this brain. Hello, my name is Becca. If you are new here, I usually have makeup on and have my hair done. However, sometimes I just get the feeling that I want to sit down and record, and today is one of those days because as we are approaching the end of the year, I am going to be taking a little bit of time off from posting podcasts, from posting podcast episodes and stop and spitting when I'm speaking, jeez. I guess I'm just going to give you a little bit of an idea of why I'm doing that, other than I just need a little bit of time, but this time of the year is actually quite difficult for me. I have spoken on the podcast a few times about the fact that I have been undergoing therapy and I am coming up to finishing that probably at the worst time because December is one of the hardest weeks of the year for me. Weeks, months. Yeah, it's difficult. It has been difficult kind of with the festive period and things like that. It always seemed very chaotic when I was growing up, and then because I had my accident on the 12th of December and spent Christmas and New Year in hospital unable to move really, I started relearning to walk for the first time round about New Year of 2019. So it's a pretty difficult time. My birthday is also thrown in there, which I have become more used to celebrating now, I suppose, especially after the accident. Nearly losing your life gives you a whole new perspective on things. I have been trying to celebrate that I am alive, I am here, even through all of the odds and having one leg, I'm smashing it, and that deserves to be celebrated. So this episode is probably going to go up middle of December, so my birthday will have passed by then. If you want to leave me a little happy birthday in the comments, I will not complain about that. However, it is then 4 days after that is my crash anniversary, which will probably have passed by the time I've posted this. I am getting on it and recording it early because I know I don't need to explain myself, but sometimes it's a bit better. And this year, my plan for the year was to be productive and consistent in terms of the podcast, and unfortunately it didn't go how I wanted it to. I struggled a lot with my mental health this year, my motivation. I started taking antidepressants and dealing with the side effects and symptoms from those, and just trying to find what was best for my body really, whilst also having other things going on in the wider world, not having a prosthetic, waiting for my new wheelchair, being in pain. All of these things contribute to not having been able to keep that consistency, and it is something that I have tried really hard over the past year not to be too hard on myself about, because sometimes these things just happen. However, I do feel like I'm getting into a bit of a rhythm. I already have some episodes recorded for the start of the year. That's what I mean by I am getting on it. And I have other episodes planned. So after this episode, I guess it is going to be quiet for a few weeks until the first or second week of January, and then you will have weekly Becca content in the podcast, chatting about all random things, maybe give me some ideas of what you want to hear about, and Yeah, I am going to pause for a second because I really think that I might have left my frying pan on when I was making myself breakfast, and I just need to go check it because anxiety. I have also just left a little clip, if you're wondering, on audio platforms why it was a bit quiet there when I said I would be back in a minute. I left a clip in of me coming back to my desk because a few days ago I finally got my new wheelchair, which I just mentioned about, and thankfully, although I'm recording, that came into my brain because I had in fact left the frying pan on, and that could have been an absolute fucking disaster. So now I need to try and recenter myself with what I was saying when I was rambling on there and then got distracted. Please come back to my brain. Yes, so I have episodes that I have recorded for the new year. I have episodes that I'm planning, that I'm researching, and if you aren't aware, I do all of this by myself. I have a mic above me because I didn't like it being in my face, and I always felt like I was hitting it with my hands and stuff like that. I record on my phone. I do all of my researching by myself because right now I'm not in a position to pay people to do it, which I would love to have the resources to do that. However, I can't right now, and that is okay because I really enjoy researching for things. And I guess I have slightly moved the goalpost with my New Year's resolution for this year, and I've made it for next year instead, and I'm getting ahead of myself on that. The reason why I'm doing this episode, like I've just got back on my train of thought, is December can be a very hard month for me. Like I mentioned, my birthday, which is hopefully going to be more of a celebration. I am heading down to Leeds. We are going to smash up some things and get our frustrations out about the world because that is some well-needed therapy at the moment, to be honest. And then it gets to, I was going to say the crash anniversary. However, I now have an added trauma in December because last year somebody tried to break into my house at 5 o'clock in the morning, and even now, especially as the weather has started to get darker and things are going on in the scheme, I have been getting increasingly more anxious, more hypervigilant, not able to sleep as much, and it does really impact me in a full body sense. When all of those things are knocked off, then I feel pain more, I'm more tired, I have to sleep, I can't concentrate, and it's just a process of me learning to juggle these things, really. So hopefully that is not going to be a big sticking point this year. I am hoping that I have things to distract me where I am not increasingly anxious that the same thing is going to happen, because it was not targeted in any way towards me. It was a case of wrong address, but even then it is fucking terrifying. And this year is 5 years on from my accident, which is huge in itself, to be honest. I was told at the start of my recovery that my full-time recovery would probably take 5 years in total, and that was not at the point of them expecting that I would get my leg amputated. That was at the point of 5 years and you'll have 2 legs. And right now I only have one because I don't have a prosthetic. However, I got a call the other day and they offered me an appointment for the day of the accident anniversary, and there is actually a little Christmas party going on at the limb services, which I said I was going to attend because, how do I put it? The accident anniversary for me is different to my amputation anniversary, and a lot of people will have a lot of different feelings. My amputation was necessary, but I also had options. It wasn't a case of life or death. I had been through 2.5 years with a Lazarov frame where I had already very much come to terms with my decision, and my injuries after the accident were so severe that if I had been taken to another hospital where my surgeon that did the Lazarov frames wasn't available, then I would have probably had my leg amputated there and then. And I feel that would have been a much harder thing to come to terms with. However, it is something that there is a back and forth pull in my brain of sometimes I wish they had amputated it because maybe I could have got my life back sooner, but I'm here where I am now, and all of the things I went through with the frame and growing bones and stuff like that meant that my residual limb is stronger than it would have been without that. And yeah, it is one of those things where it happened how it happened, and for me, my amputation was the anniversary is sad for the amputation because I never wanted it to come to this. However, it did, and me getting my leg amputated meant that I was in less pain than having 40 odd pins tearing my skin every single day, every time I moved. I had a lot more freedom and mobility than I had for the last 2.5 years. For me, it is hard not to celebrate that. However, when it comes to the accident anniversary, as much as I try to go out, I try to do things, I try to partly distract myself, but there is also a place of leaving a lot of space for the grief and the hurt and the pain and the anger that on that day 5 years ago my life totally changed when I had just fucking graduated as a nurse. I thought it was my dream job, and I do feel like an arsehole sometimes because I will see people driving recklessly and they are in an accident and they come out unscathed, and it was black ice and I was driving under the limit and I could have hardly even fucking turned the radio station or changed the aircon because I didn't like having my hands off the wheel, and it just, at times it really felt like I was being punished for something but I didn't know what it was. A lot of those thoughts go round in my head at this time of the year. And as much as I try to give myself love and compassion and warmth that it happened and I'm here and I survived it and my grief is valid and all of the feelings that I have are so valid, it's still really, really fucking difficult, to be honest. So I am spending some time in Leeds. I am spending some time around people who make me feel loved and supported, because recently there has been loneliness around where I am on my own a lot and I am really comfortable in my own company, but sometimes it gets to a point where I realise, like, outside of appointments, I've not actually seen anybody in like 5 or 6 days, and as much as I get exhausted from socialising and hanging out with people, I also get a lot of good emotions. I get exhausted because it's just energy. Like, I only have a certain amount of spoons, and sometimes socialising takes more spoons than I would like it to. However, I really enjoy being around people, especially people that I feel comfortable around, if that makes sense. And yeah, I guess I just wanted to make this little short episode to give you guys a heads up that there will be no more Cripple Chronicles until the start of January, as I am taking some very well deserved time off, and I am going to spend time around people who make me feel loved and supported and who I love and support. I hope whatever the holidays look like for you, that it is bearable, because I know that this time of the year is very difficult for a lot of people. I guess as well, with me talking about my New Year's resolution of this year and kind of moving it to next year and having a level of understanding that sometimes I just need to work with my body and my brain, and that means not being able to tick all of the things off of the to-do list that I want to do. It doesn't make me a failure. And if you haven't met your New Year's expectations for 2024, then there is always another chance in 2025. And if you are struggling with seeing people post about all of the things that they have achieved over this past year and you're feeling like you've not really achieved that much, getting through it is a big achievement, especially with the state that the world is in. It is a lot living as a human right now, to be honest. People have a lot of things to worry about, to feel anxious about: money, politics, Christmas, holidays, family. I think the reason why it came into my head of why I just wanted to sit down and record today is I am actually recording this on Thanksgiving, and I know that I see a lot of people on socials kind of sharing about how hard it is not being able to be around family members as much as they want to, and also seeing stories of how people's holidays are impacted by being around people who aren't good for their mental health. And I guess I just want to put a message out there that if you feel like that this season, you're not alone. You have made it through another year nearly in a few weeks' time. And even if that doesn't feel like a celebration today, getting through that will feel like a celebration at some point, I hope. Because I know it does for me, and all of the time that I've made it through and I've maybe went to bed before it even hits New Year because I'm not bothered, and I've always never really been a Christmassy person, but I'm trying to get a bit more festive, even if I still don't have decorations in my house, because money, it costs money. I saw that there was a park near me that was giving away like actual Christmas trees, from like tabletop ones to 6 feet. However, they're doing it the day before my birthday, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to go pick up a tree that's going to make my house a mess, and I've got Simba and he would probably be climbing on it and fucking tipping it over, and then I'd be picking up all the decorations, which by the way I don't have, so I would have to buy them too, and no thanks. Maybe I've got some chalk markers, so maybe I'll draw some little like Christmas decorations on the window, and that'll be me for this year. Because yeah, maybe next year I'll get a tree. I keep saying it. And my cleaner Donna, she has a Halloween tree and a Christmas tree, and she'd said to me to do the same thing, and I'd thought, oh, that would actually be a cute idea for the podcast. Like, I could have a wee tree on my desk, and like I could do it for all of the seasons. But again, things cost money, and it is just getting more expensive day by day, month by month. And yeah, basically that is the ramble for today. I hope that whatever you are getting up to over the holidays, you have as nice a time as possible. It is as stress-free as possible, and you feel a lot of love and support and gratitude around you. And yeah, I will see you all in 2025. take care of yourselves, especially with the colder weather. I will hopefully see you soon. Oh, I have nearly forgot. I didn't do it at the start because I didn't even do an intro. People will probably think that I'm done now. However, I guess if if you're still here, and we are only probably 20 minutes in at this point, so if you're not still here, I'll be disappointed. But leave seasons shriekings in, in the comments, and please give the video a like if you have enjoyed it, subscribe and turn notifications on so you are notified when I am back in 2025. And if you would like to see any updates from me over the time where I am taking some time off, I will probably be posting on Instagram and TikTok at Cripple Chronicles Pod. If you have anything to tell me, any stories that happened over your holidays, any run-ins you've had with friends or families, or what your favourite gift was, what your favourite part of the holidays has been, you can drop me an email to crippledchroniclespod@gmail.com. And like I have said before, I will only share it if you give me permission to. However, I will always love to just read what people send me anyway. So now I am actually finished. I will let you go on and enjoy your day. Take care of yourself. Lots of love. See you in 2025.